Here we are with another Athenian League game. So this is the Heroic League. So I believe these players are about 1,500 rated. So very, very strong players, about top 200 to 300-ish. So very, very strong. We're going to be watching Joey Bads. He is playing as Isis, and we're on the map Mirage, which we'll talk about in a second. He's from the DoD clan. Doesn't say up here, but he is. And his opponent is Dagon, also from the DoD clan. Dagon didn't know what this map was, and we're going to talk about it a little bit now. So this map is Mirage. It's a bit of a strange one where you always get a back spawn of fish. So these fish always spawn here. It's always right at the back. It isn't ever linked up like some of the other food maps, or some of the other fish maps, sorry. And I believe there's a different amount every time, although Joey before this game did say there was 9, so potentially in 1v1s it always spawns 9. So you get a decent amount of fish to boost your eco. It isn't the crazy amount of fish that you see on a full water map, something like Mediterranean, or something like Midgard, where you can get loads and loads of fish. So this one is just 9 each, which equates to, let's call it 5 villagers. It's kind of 4.5. It's like half a villager that you get per fishing ship. And it looks like Dagon is actually, he is now getting fishing ships. Okay, fishing ships are on the way. Maybe just forgot to grab those ones, getting caught off guard by the map. But if we see the fishing ship, so it's 0.5 gather rate per second, whereas one of Joey's food villagers 0.9. So actually maybe it's about 4 rather than the 5 there. We'll call it about 4 villagers worth of fish, which ends up making a little bit of a difference. Not massive, but I think gods like Isis that want to build food-based things, like she wants to go for some Anubites maybe, are really, really good. Also I know that Joey's a big fan of spearmen, kind of spearman raids, things like that. Also Joey being super efficient here, something that you don't do in ranked, but if you're playing some kind of game, I don't know, where it's much more is on the line, like your pride, then you're going to do little swaps like this one. I actually quite like doing it on any map with fish, just because you need that extra efficiency in. He's also getting that monument to the villagers. So Pharaoh working overtime here, was empowering the gold mine, then went to the lumber camp. Now he's on the monument to the villagers. He can catch this drop off. Didn't manage to catch the drop off, but just wants to get this monument to the villagers up as soon as possible. Can be very nice. Also pre-queuing his per scene upgrade, which makes these fishing ships closer to a villager's worth and is very, very strong. We're not seeing any crazy fast advance times. Actually, maybe we are from this side. Maybe that was the reason for kind of less fishing ships coming through from Dagon. Dagon's looking like Shio is being pre-queued, so it is on the way soon. And for a water map, this is quite a fast advance time. Has he not dropped the temple though? Hasn't dropped a temple. Okay. This is something where if you get thrown off by anything, so this is a map that Dagon's never really played, it can really mess you up. So nice quick drop of the temple, and that's going to go through. Luckily, Kwafu's build the temple super quick, doesn't really matter, absolutely fine. And then on this side, Joey Bads getting his temple up slowly with one villager. The map is also, this map's really thin, so it has these black bars that are on the side. I don't really like the look of the black bars, but it means it's quite long and thin, so it's hard to run around the outside of anything with extra rage. You just kind of got to go full force forwards. Looking at town centers, we can see what kind of town centers are good. This town center does have this gold mine on it, does have this food, which is quite easy to secure. With how these cliffs have spawned, you can just put a wall here, and you can defend quite a lot. So that's a really nice town center if that's what Dagon wants to go for. Does have the 2 Kwafus on wood and 6 peasants on gold, so pretty good split here to go for that. But instead, deciding to put everything over to the food, so not going for a second town center by the look of it. Maybe going to put some early pressure on, or even fast heroic. Either of those are options with this kind of build order situation. And Joey Bad's going for Anubis, kind of standard at this stage. I think Anubis is just better in every way than the other ones, and really early prosperity built. So prosperity could potentially be grabbing town centers. Looks like Joey does have a really good town center on this side. Does have a gold mine here, elephant. So very, very similar situation. The only thing is he's going up so much later. So it's going to be a little bit trickier for him to get out onto the map. What he could do is what he's doing already. He's building out his priests, could get a couple more priests out. He's already got, because he's also advancing so late, all these gold miners that he wouldn't usually have going for this on an earlier advance, basically. You've got 19 villagers getting gold. He's built out 3 extra priests, and he's got still 800 left in the bank. Now, I've played against Joey before, and I think I might know what he's going for, and we'll see if this is going to be the case. Looks like the villagers are having a waddle forwards. There's a Yatza from Dagon round the back. There are priests to deal with that. That's not a problem. There's also an Anubite that should be absolutely fine. Just need to make sure to get those laborers into the town center. Nice play to get that one in. The priest is also packed to defend. Can just turn around and shank is absolutely fine to take down these things. They don't have much hack armor, and it looks like the Yatza is going to have to retreat. And he's going town center triple barracks. Okay, this is not what I thought he would do, but I like it. I really like it. So getting the town center in, it'll only be 30 seconds time. Hasn't seen that there's too much going on. Has managed to spot the pioneers with his Anubite. Luckily, they kind of high-fived and the Anubite isn't going to take the damage. Anubite does, again, high-five the peasants. I think Joey's looking at what he's building back here, trying to defend the Chongqi raid, trying to defend the Yatza raid. So unfortunately, didn't notice that one. These guys are going to move over to the giraffes, which is pretty wild. Nice jump away. Manual jump away of this Anubite means you can keep him alive, bring him back to the priests. I think these cows here are going to be spotted here. Do these cows actually notice that that's going up? No, they did have really limited line of sight, but he does notice double barracks coming here. Now, that's a really strange barracks if this town center wasn't grabbed. So I think if Dagon realizes that these are here, he's going to know what is happening. And Plague of Serpents gets dropped down right in the back. And all these fishing ships are actually going to go down. Such a nice usage of these sea snakes. So bit of history back to the start of when Retold was out. And the first tournament was Red Bull Wallaloo, and it had this map in it. And Soup did this strategy. I think he went Isis or Set, dropped the very early Plague of Serpents. And it's really difficult to deal with because you can sit all your fishing ships idle, just like they are here. Priest going forward, going to get taken down by pioneers pretty easily, though. He's going to have to run away. But you can sit them, and then that means that your dock can now fire. But if you want to take these down quicker, you're going to have to spend resources on it, which is kind of something that you don't want to do because then your fishing ships or your arrow ships are just useless. So it's a really nice play to drop these down and basically idle the equivalent of those 4 villages that we mentioned earlier. And he's trying to pop out, but he can't. These are also out of range of the dock, so it's really struggling to fire. Dagon does want to put the pressure on. He has now spotted this town center. So what can Dagon do here? Looks like already chosen to go to the heroic age. Rusho is going to be the choice. Does give you the really good Dao swordsman. Dao swordsman, though, do get carved up by axemen, which Joey is also going for. Axeman, he is going for the classical unit build with Nephthys pre-queued, which is basically, again, if you want to go classical units. I think Joey might be trying to go for another... Oh, looks like flaming weapons or lightning weapons is dropped down. I think Joey's just standing his ground here. You could try and run away, but they're just basically going to die anyway. Unfortunately, the rally points are a little bit forward. And they are going to run away. Not the highest value lightning weapons, but has got something done in the meantime there. Forcing Joey back. What I was going to say is I think Joey was potentially going for a prosperity because he's almost got the 60 favor to do another prosperity. Maybe he wants to get the food now with the pharaoh. Basically just getting full max value from this pharaoh. Moving him around to where the majority of his villagers are. Could also use that monument to the villagers with his pharaoh. Could get a good healing radius. Also, the Fey beasts within this circle cannot come down. So really nice placement of this monument to the priests. Absolutely love that play. Something that a lot of the top level Isises really don't do, or top level players that play Isis. And we definitely see it at the kind of mid level here, which is nice. Slingers do melt the pioneers if they can get onto them. So nice force back. I think this is baited. I don't think he's got 148 units worth. Especially it's the same amount of population, resource population, sorry, but it's got 150 units, which is a bit weird. I think it's bugged. But looks like Joey, he is trying to get up to the next stage. Just have that 35 on food. So we'll be there soon. Also getting some units out. So doesn't want to get caught out. Does make sense. Also getting his survival equipment tech. Baby's coming in. Baby's coming in just on the side of that circle there. Really nice play from Dagon. I don't think Joey even realizes that this has happened, thinking that his monument was protecting that the entire time. While this is going on, though, looks like Joey is going to win this fight pretty handily. So Fabius gets some decent damage, but now Joey won that fight, and he can force Dagon off of this gold mine, which is exactly what he's going to try and do. Axeman here to take out those Dow Swordsmen. We said about how good they are. The only thing is the Fire Archers, again, counter the Axemen. So you've got to be cognizant of that. Tao Wu special runs out just as they're going to get to bulldoze everybody through. Oh, goes for 4 Anubites. If I was Joey, I'd probably just cancel those. He wants to snap these in. Just cancel those, get your Nepthys queuing, and then again shift to Anubites. Unless he just really wants to go straight in now. Maybe he's spotted that there's just not enough Dagon units, and he thinks that these Anubites could get some big value. So potentially that's the choice there. Just deciding to stick in this classical age. This is something that quite a lot of players do, is they pre-queue the next age for later, maybe not necessarily wanting to go for it right this second. So I think that's what Joey is kind of doing, getting another barracks up. Yeah, so he's just sticking to this classical age off of 2TC angle. Also got quite a lot more eco in the bank. Looks like down this bottom side, the fish did manage to take out the Plague of Serpents. Didn't really look at how long that was there for. Dow Swordsman upgrades, not in just yet. Just has medium Dow Swordsman. Doesn't have either of the upgrades. And the Anubites, there's now 6 Guardian Anubites in. Could shift Q here, do some serious damage to these peasants. If Joey's going to notice that one, he is going to go for it. And they just do so much splash damage. Only manages to take down 1 though. Tao Wu is going to get some good damage. And I think that was also the White Tiger that did some serious amount. It's like Joey is trying to jump over that fence, decides to jump in instead, again doing some good damage. Medium Slingers, unfortunately, attacking the Myth units. Nice. And then he does manage to go on the shift click. And I think it looks like the purple units are kind of overwhelming. There's not a lot of Shenong heroes left, which means that these Anubites can just go to town, manually casting these guys as well. Always like to do the manual casts whenever you can. And this gold mine is going to be forced back. Dagon does have a gold mine right at this top side, so it isn't that much of a big deal. But this is the 2 town center player managing to push back the 1 TC player. So Joey is in a commanding position right here. Also, a lot of these buildings are spawning right here. And unfortunately, Dagon has lost a couple of units that way. Does force him back with the Fire Archers, though. Can also get Sentry Towers whenever he wants. Nice play from Dagon here. Only has 2 military camps, or just the 1. Oh, the archery ranges. So he does have the military camp here, but actually, because he only has 1, he's decided to get this training yard, which means that they spawn units super quick. So I definitely rate that play, but actually he's going for the machine workshops. Got 3 machine workshops up. Doesn't have the training yards for those. Would just be worth getting those. He has the resources for it, and he wanted to queue out 10 units. If you just insta do that, you don't have to research anything. You just hit N, and then your units start to train really quickly. It does cost a certain amount. Anubites raiding this side. Did we notice their jump? Have they jumped? No, they do have a jump. So you can again shift Q here and do some good damage. Is going to notice that one. Yeah. Joey has some really good micro with these Anubites. Nice play. And then Nephthys coming through now after the classical age push. I think that's a really nice ISIS game for Joey. Also pressuring the front. Does probably want to get up to that full population limit. Does have 80 favor in the bank. So could potentially go for more of these raiding dogs. Could go for some Scorpion Men. Also, if he wants to, could use another Prosperity. I think second Prosperity is a really good choice. I know Joey's a fan of the second Prosperity. Especially with the Pharaoh on it. Just makes sense. But it has more than enough resources for now. Sticking to these classical units. Again, his Axeman got his got upgrades for both of the medium upgrades. The other thing that he's missing, I think, for this next push is the armory upgrades. Copper armory upgrades are ridiculously cheap. If we can look at them, they're 180 resources for ISIS. It's just nothing. Definitely worth it. One of the Anubites has gone off from the pack. Wanted to look to stop these giraffes, but the giraffes are actually finished up. And Dagon's going to bring his whole army over here to defend his next gold mine, which is nice. The Anubite is going to get caught out. Actually, is potentially get a peasant before he dies. I think there's too many units here, and that Anubite will go down. And Nephthys was the choice. So we'll have an Ancestors. Didn't want to use the Ancestors that side, just because all the armies there definitely makes sense. Now the slow siege coming through. From Joey's side, Siege Works is coming up right in the middle. Siege Works Migdal Stronghold to secure this next gold mine. Fortunately, the Pharaoh's got a bit confused, and he's sitting on this mining camp. Maybe Joey will notice that one. Get him retasked when he realizes that his Migdal probably should have been up. Oh, he's going to run past those peasants, but heading for the gold mine. This is what he wants. This is the main meat that he's actually going for. A couple of pioneers do scare him off, though. Could jump up here if he wants to, but I think he can run away from those pioneers. He is much quicker anyway. And now we see the myth units coming through for Dagon. How many priests are there? There are no priests for Joey. Needs to get those out. Is actually queuing 5 straight away. So notices that is an issue. That the Baihus are in. Baihus are very scary. Unfortunately, this Anubite's going to get caught out. Actually taking down these units pretty well. Both Baihu specials are in. And now Dagon's push is kind of stopped. Maybe he saw the Migdal Stronghold and went, that's probably enough. Kwafu's coming over. Is this a town center or some kind of ballet coming up over this direction? He is going for the town center. It does secure things. I think it's a decent town center to go for. There is a ballet back here. Nephthys is going to be able to drop the Ancestors. Anubite's getting some good damage as well. And the rest of Joey's army is on the way. The Phoenixes are also in. The Phoenix is such a scary unit. You need to make sure not to get that special down. Nice turn and burn by Dagon. We do see the big Phoenix special, but there's enough priests to really deal with that one. Slingers need to be tasked onto those fire archers, and that's all that's left now, so they're automatically going to go onto them. Unfortunately, a few stray rocks hitting this white tiger. But I think the settlement is definitely going to go down. The dog's jumping in. He's been on it with these manual jumps. And Dagon really wants this town center up. There's going to be one big whack. Town center up. Nice play from Dagon. Does manage to get it. But I mean, how much has he lost? He's lost so many units. Unfortunately, just didn't have enough out. Doesn't have much eco left at all. And I think Joey's going to swarm this one. And he is. Manages to take down the town center. Really nice play from Joey. I liked this. I like the town center with the triple barracks just going, this is what I want to do. Straight into classical fight. I think it is really good up against the Chinese. And yeah, we're going to see next game. Game number 2 in this best of 3, but they play all the games series against, which is Dagon versus Joey Bads. Looks like Dagon, after the first loss, decided to switch it up off of the Chinese and go in for a Thor game. So I think he also picked this map, I'm pretty sure, because the last one was Joey Bads' map. So Dagon going in with the Thor on Yellow River. Yellow River's this really funky map where this side is sea that you can't get through, so water that you can't actually walk through as normal units. And then this slightly shallow a bit, you can kind of see it with on the mini-map, the lighter blue, is something that you can walk through. So it ends up being pretty strange map. There's also gold in the middle with an extra town center. So middle gold control later on is very important, but also there's a decent amount of gold actually on your own side that you can get away with not going on there for a while. You can also get some really defensive town centers because of how this water spawns. You would have to build a dock, get a transport ship, do some damage over here. But it looks like so this is Joe Bad's side. He is the Ra player. His town center is okay. It has spotted deer on it. Maybe that's okay for a Ra, because Ra can, after that, then drop farms, so maybe Ra doesn't really mind that much. But from Dagon's side, I much prefer the town center for the Thor. He gets 6 Aurochs, a large gold mine there for this town center, but really, really nice. especially the eco of a Thor player could really enjoy that one. Depends on what they want to go for, though. That could be an option. Now, this side, Dagon's going for the armory upgrades, getting his first one, which is the weapons, now going in for copper shields. Decided to go for the 1 berserk, not going for the 2 berserk strat that we have seen before. Also going for kind of a 2 gatherer option. I think there's so many Thor builds that are kind of kicking around. You can kind of do what you want. As long as you get the 4:30 to 5 minute advance time, if you need one that early, with 3 armory upgrades, then you're absolutely fine. You can go for an earlier advance time with 2 upgrades if that's what you want to go for. Just depends what the matchup really calls for. Then on Joey Bad's side, he's getting his houses up really early, deciding to not empower the monument to the villagers, which is interesting. Has put it in a really nice spot to get his lumber camp, his mining camp up, as the temple is in range. But deciding instead that he wants the extra food gather time instead, gather rate. So the pharaoh on here acts as a priest. It's as if a priest is empowering everything within the circle, and a pharaoh, which is a better version, basically. So yeah, that's what's up with Ra. Here we go. Managing to bring those in. And speaking of what Joey really wants to do, is we saw Joey in the last game. So he is an Egyptian main. Potentially wants to go for something similar with the classical fight. I know that classical fights against Norse in general are very strong. Whether he wants to go for that 2TC classical fight, or if he wants to go and just switch it up completely and go in for some kind of heroic age play, get those slightly better units off. I also know that Joey Bad, he's a big fan of the Shifting Sands. So Shifting Sands attacks onto some kind of raid. Say that if this town center was grabbed, you could Shifting Sands on this gold mine, or going straight for the jugular. I know that he's definitely been known for that. So we'll see what Joey decides to do in this side. He is going through Ptah. It is standard. Dagon going for, as we said, late advance time. I think in this matchup, a late advance time is fine. You're sat in your base, defending the gold mine with these buildings very, very nicely. Means that there's not much Joey can really do. If there was a Sphinx here, you can get out a Hersa as you're advancing to the next stage. The Hersa can put a stop to any Sphinx raids that want to come in. So I think he's in an absolutely fine spot to go for this kind of 5-minute-ish advance time. Forseti is the choice. I think you're forced into Forseti more often than not against Ra and Isis, just in case they go for Sphinx. You really need those faster Hersa just in case. We haven't really looked at relics, actually. Town centers are better, which can be good if you're up against the heroic age of Ra, which could get him citadels, which works there. Cavalry speed, I think, is good for both sides. It's only 5% now. It was nerfed from what it was originally. But this is all Migdal units for Joey if he wants to go for that one. Iceberg Wagon could be nice, especially if you want to ignore the middle. That's the extra speed and cheaper caravans. Are there other relics that have been grabbed from Joey's side? He is grabbing a relic right now. He's grabbing farms are cheaper. That's a huge relic for Ptah. Already getting that Shadoof also. We'll see how much those guys are going to end up being. It looks like Joey's going for this bottom town center, potentially. I think this one's better for him, to be honest. It kind of matches this one from Dagon. You get the gold mine. It's not the best gold mine. It's a little bit out of the way. This gold mine's okay. Then has the Aurochs on it. I think Joey's picked the right town center if he wants to go for one. So definitely rate that play. On this side, Dagon just advancing to the next stage. Does he spot... What can he spot? It's a problem with Thor. Yeah, the issue with Thor, nice scout from this troll. Just in case Joey was going for this forward town center, you want to put a stop to that one. So nice little scout here. But you see the problem with Thor. He just doesn't scout much at all. So kind of forced into building a decent amount of buildings to get more units out. Wall coming up here. Wall coming up here makes me think Dagon doesn't know the map. Because this is water. Unless he's thinking that there's going to be a transport ship, but then the transport ship can just come here. So this fight, the Hersa wins this fight every day of the week. Old Halford the Sea King is going to be able to take that guy out, even though the priest spotted him first. So Joey does lose a priest. On this side, how much has Joey seen? He's seen... Actually, he hasn't seen that much either. I guess he wanted the raw kind of empowerment bonus early instead of the scouting. But can build more priests as and when he wants to. But I think, to be honest, Joey's found exactly what he wants to find. He's going for that defensive Ra play. There's not much pressure that Dagon can really put on him. I think an emergency barracks from Joey's side would be a good shout, just in case there's a load of heroes coming his way. The armory coming up here to defend the wood lines, really, really nice. And it looks like Dagon, is he going for a heroic age again? The last game he went for a kind of fast third age, which obviously seems like something that he likes doing. Players, even when they play different gods, they kind of tend to stick to similar strategies, unless you're playing at the very, very high level where they know all the strategies. Normally, you just kind of, you have one that fits your play style, and I'm a fan of a fast heroic, and maybe Dagon is also. Managing to find these Aurochs here, and the villagers are going to go for those Aurochs. I wouldn't take them down with the hearses. So when the hearses attack, they don't gather as much favor as the villagers do. So you're actually losing favor here. So it's definitely worth it to get the dwarves to attack these down. I know that Norse players, they go around and they attack other huntables. So if you were to get these, you're kind of getting free favor, but this is kind of just losing favor. It's just something, maybe just matchup knowledge or specific god knowledge. That's a hard word to say for some reason. Specific god knowledge that you kind of need to know if you're a Norse main or just playing Norse. Nice steal of the goats though. Does manage to get that one. Get some more this side. Troll putting in some work. Like Joey's going for a wall here, getting his lumber camp up. He's going up to the next stage. He's going through Sekhmet. So I believe we're going to see some prime Joey bads here. And we'll see if that is the case when he goes up here. So what does Sekhmet give you? So Sekhmet gives you scarabs. You can also get the scarab upgrade, which means they lifesteal. Myth units now lifesteal. Scarabs are very good against buildings, so it could be an option there. What Joey could do is, once he's finished up on all these Aurochs, he could then drop down those farms. He did get that farming upgrade really early. There's no farm up, though. Can we see how much they cost? 26 gold for a farm. Normally they're 70 or something along those lines. So with double bonus, really. I think Troll wins this fight against the Priest. Especially if he gets hit once beforehand. I think Joey's going to have to run. Yeah, Priest is going to get taken down. Oh. Maybe I'm wrong. Anyway, Raiders coming in to deal with that. Sekhmet in. Does get the Citadel Center to defend. Also gives him extra population, which is nice. And the Scarab. Are there more Scarabs coming through? It is Shaft Mine. Survival equipment in case the raids come through. Nice wall coming up. And Dagon is getting a second town center. A bit later, but he is Thor, so he has managed to get those early dwarves in anyway, so not as far behind as you might think. Also getting these extra armory upgrades too. So actually, going to be very, very similar on the eco side. Only 4 villages behind. Joey is, of course, in the third age, so that does take, I think it's costs about 4 or 5 villages to get up to the next stage because you're not building them during that time. And here we go, the 26 gold farms. So this is costing him absolutely nothing. These 18 farms cost him nothing. He can rain away whenever he wants to. Does have monument to the priests, monument to the villagers, does have one last monument somewhere. So a decent amount of monuments in. Could rain 2 times. It costs 30 extra each time. So the first one's free, then it's 30, then it's 60, I think. Maybe it's 30, then it's 45 or something like that. But anyway, it's definitely worth using multiple rains if that's what he wants to go for. He wants to go for some heavy food units like Scarabs, but not committing to anything just yet. Going in for barracks units, which is interesting. Getting the barracks in, monument to the soldiers empowered here. So it's empowering this town center here, this gold mine, and all these barracks. Nice drop down here. So dropping down all the barracks, but is he going for a mythic age? Potentially. Is definitely going to have the food. Can even sell food if he really wants to go that way. No one's sold anything yet. And then on this side, we see Dagon secured his base really nicely. Nice placement of these longhouses. Does have the walls here, as we mentioned. The food being secured very nicely. Does have the gold mine on this gold mine as well, just in case there's some kind of shifting sands attack. Don't want to lose everything. So definitely worth it. Getting some defensive positions this side. Could start to build in the middle. Joey is kind of sitting back. Not even kind of. He's fully sitting back. This is his game plan. Absolutely love this too. After the rain, Joey goes, nah, I'm going to go for the Aurochs now. goes for those Aurochs because they actually get you more gather rate. So we see 0.9 here. Then if you move over to the farm, 0.69. So you're getting extra for those Aurochs. And then if he wants to rain again, he'll move back over to the farms. This is the kind of thing that separates Joey from some of the other players. He's got a big brain. Now Joey, he has pre-queued Horus, but going for the units. So this must just be something that he does. So the first game he pre-queued just because he wants it later on, and he's going to do the same this game. So not wanting to get that one, actually wanting to gather the units. So he's going to go mass units now. Dagon spots that instantly. Dagon does need to run back with those hearsers. Unfortunately, they're going to be running through, not paying attention here, and is going to be forced to turn and fight now. He is going to try and run away. The hearsers, they're decently tanky because they have all those armory upgrades. Does have Hall of Thanes as well, so isn't going to lose any hearsers there. I think Joey doesn't have any armory upgrades. So actually, if Dagon can get a decent amount of units out, he could win this fight pretty significantly with those extra upgrades. Just needs to make sure all his units are in the fight, and those low HP hearsers do go down. Healing Spring dropped. Is it in the middle? Oh, I would have loved to forward Healing Spring right in the middle. Basically, forward pressure while Joey's trying to sit back here. Joey trying to fight underneath Migdal's Stronghold Fire, but unfortunately doesn't quite hit it. Does force the Flaming Weapons, and Joey's just going to run away. Nice wall placement to deal with that Flaming Weapons. The Gold Mine is under pressure, though. All these farms are also no wall across here. That would have been nice. But is going to force them back. Citadel Center does an absurd amount of damage. 3 arrows, 41 damage per second. Battle Boars, though, are pretty tanky. There's not that many priests from Joey. He also doesn't have, actually, no priests. Also, the issue here is he doesn't have Nepthys, which makes the priests better than they normally are. And a nice attack from Dagon here. Flaming Weapons used and getting some good value, even with the walls here. Joey, though, does have the defender's advantage, so Dagon doesn't want to kind of overstay his welcome. And I think it's worth Dagon, with those battle boars, taking out the wooden gate so all his units can get away. Is forcing Joey off of that gold mine, though. Does have a gold mine down this bottom side, but not many units on it. Forcing all the villagers to be idle also. So really nice attack from Dagon. Is going to lose the Scarab. And the battle boars here, huge. Yes, forward Healing Spring. Absolutely love it. Uses a second one. That's 100 favor Healing Spring there. I've been known for those as a Loki player, using the forward Healing Spring, second forward Healing Spring. So strong. Forward Hill Fort. I'm loving Dagon's position here. He just attacked at the perfect moment. I think Joey, he's set up all of these farms. He's set up everything. You used the rain, but decided to push out before he got his heavy upgrades in, and didn't have any of those juicy armory upgrades. Whereas Dagon, we saw how tanky his units were with these bronze upgrades. He only has medium himself, but those bronze ones basically making him like he's got heavy, even up to champion without them. We see the extra rain coming in. Joey now, is he going Mythic Age? Is that the plan? Is time to build more units out. Only has 100 pop. Yeah, probably needs to build the units to defend this next attack, I imagine. Be very difficult to defend for 2 minutes, spending those 1200 resources. Unfortunately, a bit of a misclick on that portable ram. All the axemen are getting caught out. There's not enough wall here to actually build a gate. Also, some of Dagon's units are being thrown away, though. They're getting a bit confused by the wall, but the throwing axemen putting on some serious damage, and all of Joey's units are just melting. Wall going down by that portable ram. Now the Ulfiols are in. They did run probably the wrong way, but now getting some good value. Barracks did try and go up, but I don't think Joey's going to have much to hold here. Doesn't have his levy upgrade either, so can't spam them out as much as he possibly wanted to. We'll go to Dagon's perspective. Does he have that many buildings? He has 11 military buildings to keep flooding this position. They're a little bit far away, but I think he should be able to keep up this pressure nicely. Should probably go after Simon II here, just because he's getting so much extra boosted eco. All of these barracks are now producing quicker. The battle boars, as we said, just too good up against the, let's call them naked priests, the non-Nephthys priests. They just don't really cut it. Villagers forced him to fight. And I think Dagon's found himself a good spot. He's taken out the Migdal. Forced off that front gold mine. Forced off the back gold mine. So Joey's now got no gold at all. And these guys are decent siege weapons. They can actually take out the town center pretty quickly. Unfortunately, this one's going to go down. Dagon's also pre-queued tier, but I just think he just needs to keep flooding. He is, okay. Just keep the units coming. And forces back all the units, and Dagon does take that one. Just a really nice flaming weapons push here. The wall, I thought the wall was enough, but actually all the damage over it with the throwing axemen, with the trolls, the nice run back this side. I just think Joey maybe just ran out slightly too early with his non-upgraded units, and the armory upgrades really coming in clutch there. So 1-1. We'll move on to the decider. Okay, game 3, the decider. And I wanted to start from one of the players' perspective here, because this map is the unknown, and they actually see when fish spawns here. I don't know why it's frozen, but the fish should be moving. But basically, you see some fish if the map has fish. You don't know how many. You don't know if there's any closer, I think. Although this does look like it's the closest fish. Maybe you see the closest 3. But anyway, so Joey knows that there is some fish down here, and he is adapting his build order to get it. From Dagon's perspective, we can move over to Dagon. Did get shown these 3 fish here, instantly goes over there, builds the dock. Now, I think the best thing to do on this is your first fishing ship needs to scout. Because I've seen spawns where you get 3 fish. I've seen spawns where you get 20 something. It's actually ridiculous. So if I was Dagon here, I would build my fishing ship. I would literally just shift click it around like this. Imagine this is him. You shift click it around and you see exactly what it is. So you go, there's 6 fish here. You then do that. I don't know whether he's going to be able to notice this one up here. It might be quite difficult for the fishing ship to see it, so might not find this one. The same with Joey. I don't think he's going to notice this one. But both sides should have the 6 fish. And also deciding to put the labourer over here because it was such a trick, which does make sense. But yeah, I would send back old Cambyses the first back home, and the dock is going to be able to get these fish. Is Joey also going to do it? He's just going straight for the fish. Unfortunately, I forgot to swap the boys around. So Joey is the set. So sorry for that for the first 1 minute 50. Whoops. It's fine. They're both 1-1, so not bad. And Joey here getting his mining camp up so he can build a second dock if he wants to, or go for that temple nice and early, decides whatever he wants to go for. On this side, nice share of the ox cart. Always worth it if you can. Just saves a bit of wood, especially if you're trying to build more fishing ships out, so it just makes sense. Do you need to make sure to have a decent amount in the bank to get out a house and another ox cart though, and I don't think there's going to be enough to build a house, so that's a little bit troublesome for Dagon's build here. Is going to be, actually, house is already up. A house was already being built. It was probably some spectator bug, so definitely a nice play there. It was probably even in range. I just didn't even notice it. Where is the house? Yeah, it was just... Sometimes the spectator's really funny. I think that house must have already been up, but wasn't updated. Doesn't matter. Looks like the villagers being sent forward instead of the fishing ships. So the villager's going to notice that this is the end. And Joey needs to cancel that auto-queue fish if that's what he's on. Doesn't have them auto-queued. Definitely love that. And from Dagon's side, I don't think he had them auto-queued in the last game. No, he manually tasked his ships, so he should be absolutely fine. Dagon can go up to the next stage if he wants to. Doesn't have a temple though, so not going for that early advance time. Temple in front of the gold mine about here would be a really nice spot if that's what he wants to go for. Love that. Does leave a little gap here for his hearses to walk through to potentially get some relics. This one's increases pierce armor of human soldiers, which is always good against Egyptians. Increases cavalry hit points, just an insane relic. Anyway, temple improvements are cheaper. We see improves cavalry speeds. There's 2 cav relics. Great for both sides. Honestly, I mean, Set doesn't always want to go for cavalry, but as we said in the second game, all Migdal units count as cavalry, so even the chariot archers count to get that extra 10% bonus, get that extra 5% speed. Elephants count too. Obviously, 5% speed on an elephant's nothing, because they be slow. But apart from that, all good. Baboon of Set having a wander around, is having a look. Fishing ships over here. And Joey has noticed the dock down here, so his fish boom is going off very, very nicely. And actually, considering that Joey, his first map, the one he picked, was very similar to this. One of these water maps that you can't aggress on. I would call them like hybrid maps, ones where you basically just get extra fish. The only way to kind of push your opponent off this is to find it, build a dock, or run around with some hearses, run around with some raiders to take out the dock eventually. But the dock is going in. This is such a bad map for Dagon. I think they're very similar. Unless I'm... This town center's awful, but then Joey's got a bad town center too. This town center... Oh, the gold mine situation. Oof. Didn't even spot that one. So there is a bad gold mine for Dagon here. There is a decent one here. But yeah, you're right. Joey can secure these two gold mines with the Migdal very, very nicely. And actually, yeah, Joey's map, if he notices it up here, can be very, very nice. Something that Dagon can do is he can build over here if he really wants to, if he spots that this is it as well. We look at the player's line of sight. So Joey's noticed that this map's pretty good for him. Hasn't spotted two of the gold mines up here. And we'll spot this other one. Where was the other one? It was very, very close. It was like over here, wasn't it? Over here, yeah. So he's going to spot that one. Whereas on the side of Dagon, he's noticed that this is up here too. So both players have noticed. Nice Valkyrie raid does force them back. Joey, not yet in the next stage, is going for Ptar again. So likes his Ptar. A couple of units being picked off right in the middle. And Dagon isn't building over here. Nice walls though. Do rate those walls. But building quite forward. Wants to go for the rush, which is interesting. In this Egyptian matchup, where the Egyptians can spam out units pretty quickly. So if you put your Pharaoh on the barracks, which I don't know if that's what's being empowered. I think it is. I think the Pharaoh looks drunk, but I'm pretty sure this barracks is being empowered. Maybe it's just getting the monument to the villagers treatment, and he's actually on this gold mine here. But anyway, you can spam out units pretty quick. They don't take that long to build. And Joey's going to use all his resources here. He's got a lot of food in the bank, thanks to this extra fishing eco. I think Dagon's not gone up to the top, so Joey definitely has the advantage in eco, even though it doesn't look like it from the scoreboard, but he has 9 extra fish, or 6 extra fish, whatever it is. 5. I was close. Don't want to get those gazelles picked off. They can be really nice to have back at home if he wants them. Raiding cavalry. Interesting house placement here. Kind of letting the raiders in, but now they're kind of trapped in here with you. So pretty nice play. The villagers can turn around and shank if it really wants to. Unupgraded raiders don't do too much damage. They get caught on the way out. Nice play from Joey there. Needs to spend his resources though. Big forest fire coming up. Joey needs to react to this one quickly. Unfortunately, he's going to run the wrong way. And big value from that forest fire right there. A couple of straggler spearmen are going for it. Straggler spearmen need to be brought back. Nice pick off from Dagon though. Capitalizes on that one. And now, thanks to that forest fire, his rush is actually going pretty well. I think Joey might need to run back. Does get watchtowers up though. Nice play. Pharaoh could empower the watchtower if he wants to. Pharaoh could also come over to deal with the Valkyrie, but he's just deciding to empower the gold mine. Absolutely fine if that's what he wants to do. But the hearses are going to go down. Valkyrie running in, but there's a decent amount of priests to deal with it. Wadget goes down, probably the biggest damage dealer on that side. Or Joey, the purple player. And the set, Pharaoh is brought over. And classical, in the early classical, the Pharaoh does an absurd amount of damage. Dagon's now getting mostly throwing axemen, so Joey needs to transition here into slingers. He is getting a couple of slingers. Slingers do some really good damage up against those throwing axemen. And what's Dagon doing here? So did manage to get some, didn't build a second dock. It is difficult when you're Odin, because you've got to bring over there with one of your with one of your berserks, one of your hearses, whatever, and that is taking him out of the fight. But I would like to see one here. Did he notice that there was fish on that side? I want to move over to his perspective. He did notice there was fish, but just decided not to go for it. It'd be really nice, though, because you could get some good Valkyrie, and Valkyrie are quite expensive. They cost 200 food, it says right there, which is quite expensive, but the more Valkyries you get out, it just makes your army so strong. And now Joey's getting his copper armor. That was that was one of the reasons he fell in the last game, was not getting that armory upgrades in. So getting them nicely. Also getting Persine. The dock is going to take a while to go down. Just a handful of spearmen needed. Probably the priest, yeah, is going to notice that one. Knows what he needs to bring over. Doesn't want to overcommit to kind of defending this. Does have enough. There are 3 Valkyries now, though. And Joey thinks, oh, that's quite a lot. The other thing is, Dagon is forward hunting here. So if Joey recognized that, unfortunately, his obelisk doesn't quite see. So really nice sneak here from Dagon. But if he had a slightly forward monument, these units being over here means that he could just go and attack this side. It's only a small amount of units, but these 3 Valkyrie really pack a punch. Now they are Shield Maiden Valkyrie too. Priest coming over. They're also going to get caught out. No forest fire to deal with them. You need to take the Valkyrie out, though. Otherwise, it's just almost not worth it. I mean, it's definitely worth it to defend your dock. But they can just heal each other up. With that Shield Maiden upgrade, they heal so quick. Does manage to take down 1 raider, so get something for it. What's Joey's situation for slingers? Does have 8 slingers. Nice micro, just to literally just bring the slingers forward. Unfortunately, a couple of axemen did get caught in, but that's it. You just want to bring the slingers in and have them as the front line almost against pure throwing axemen. I know it sounds dumb, but the throwing axemen do basically no damage against your slingers compared to your slingers getting ×3 bonus damage, so it's so much more. You also have more range than the slingers. It's just a nice matchup. It's like both players trying to get walls up. Obviously, the Norse player is going to be superior in those walls. So Dagon has noticed that this map is skewed a little bit towards Joey. So it is capitalizing on that one. Gather was also moving to the bottom side. Nice bit of micro to get through the town center. We didn't see it, but we definitely heard it. But let's just can run through. Unfortunately, isn't going to be able to get that one done in time, so all of the Dagon units get out. So nice play from him to not lose any of his units. Yep, not going to lose any of them. Just making sure. Now, for both players, what is the next step? Looks like Nepthes is already on the way for Joey. Is out of gold in his main base, so does need to secure this one up here. Throwing Axeman coming around could take down the dock if they want to. It's going to take quite a long time to take out that dock with these guys, though. But could go for that one. But that basically, if I was Joey there and the throwing axemen are going to sit down here, he's seen that all these throwing axemen are actually down here, so he can easily get a Migdal up on this side. Doesn't have the gold for it, but he's got 1,000 food. He's got a market. Doesn't have a market. Just jam a market down, sell. It costs not very much compared to the other Egyptians to actually get that Migdal down, so just whack it down. Deciding instead to collect the gold. I think both is fine. Obviously more eco overall to do it this way, but I would just rate grabbing a market, sell, whack it up with all the villagers. Unfortunately, a bit of a misclick here. He might not have even misclicked. The game just does this sometimes and can be very frustrating, and you kind of have to be on top of these villagers. On this side, Dagon's going for a settlement and heroic age. I think Njord's a good shout. Njord is very good for pushing 1 point. He wants to use his walking woods here, get his mountain giants in. Doesn't have any favor because he's gone so hard on those Shield Maiden Valkyrie, which I think is the right call. But actually, if he wants to go heroic age and grab a town center, if Joey sniffs this out, it could be pretty big for him. He was on the defensive 2 seconds ago because he needed to get a Migdal down to secure his position. But now Dagon has completely taken his foot off the gas pedal here. And if Joey sniffs this out, he could put some serious pressure on. He's got about a minute and 20 seconds to get something done. But I mean, now Dagon can start spamming units again, which he absolutely is. So I think he's got away with that. Raid coming over here. And now Joey needs to go. Does he spot this town center? He doesn't know that the town center's up, but knows something's happening behind these walls. That dock is going to go down eventually. Joey's army's looking scary though, man. He's got heavy axemen coming in, going for bronze armor. Even bronze armor in this matchup is absolutely right. because your axemen, your spearmen, they get carved up by those throwing axemen. So if you can get any extra armor against them, absolutely makes sense. I think Joey is going for some kind of attack. He's getting 2 siege towers in, and he's got his Scorpion Man. Oh, Scorpion Men, 3 of them. I mean, very, very good. He's also got one defending back at home. He's going to get 1 special off and force all those units out, thanks to the towers as well. Doesn't want to get caught out, though. Scorpion Man does need to run back. Yep, does notice that one. And actually, Joey, because he's on 1 TC, he's actually full pop. So trying to get all those units out, but needs to maybe delete some of the crocodiles or just start to attack with something. His army's looking scary, though. Needs to get something done with it while the time is right. Strike while the iron is hot, some would say. Potentially could go for a vision shifting sands play. There is some fast units to deal with it. Spearmen are getting caught out, but kind of that's what he wanted, so he could get his siege towers out. So absolutely fine there. Walking Woods used over here, which is interesting. Is a decent amount of priests to deal with this. There is Nephthys priests, so it is fine. Also the Scorpion Men. I mean, Scorpion Men are going to go to town on this. Going to do so much damage to this back line here, or front line even. Looks like the Walking Woods are going straight for the town center, but they're all going to get taken out by those priests. Slinger's getting caught out, though, by the medium raiders. And I think there's enough Godi from the side of the Odin here. No, there's only 2 Godi. He does have 5 hearses, though. The hearses are even better against the Scorpion Men if they can get onto them. It looks like they're not quite going for them, though. So they have managed to get onto them now. The Scorpion Men are going to go down. Looks like there is a Shifting Sands while this is happening. Only the Siege Towers, though. Shifting Sands, Siege Towers over here. I think the Gatherers are going to be able to take down these Siege Towers, but the Nephthys... Ancestors, is that used back at home? Ancestors back home to defend, but the Godi are here. I would have liked it on this front line to deal with all of these gatherers, but decides he needs it back at home. Looks like Joey's winning this fight, takes down the town center immediately, does lose 1 siege tower and a Shifting Sands, but is going to be able to run away with the rest of it and is winning on this side. Nice ignore of that mountain giant because there's no heroes left for Joey. No heroes at all. Only 1 Scorpion Man. So actually, Dagon got some good value there, taking out all those Scorpion Men. And some Berserks, potentially some units transformed into Berserks, or actually he's been building them for a while. So Siege Towers are going to lose their lives, unfortunately for Joey, but he did defend the position. The only thing here is that Dagon's been on 2 town centers for a solid while. He's secured this, he's got this gold mine. Joey's gold mine is 2,300 left in it, so he's going to need to grab another gold mine. And where can he grab it from? He can grab this one all the way down here. Or he needs to push through to this side. It's going to be very difficult for him. Kind of getting baited almost to take out all of these things. Obviously doing some good damage to Dagon here. On the side of resource value, it looks like both of them are very, very similar. I kind of rate Joey's army a little bit more, though, just because he has more of those counter units. Than what Dagon has. Dagon only has a handful of throwing axemen, which are the real damage dealers here. They're also going after the priest. The priest acting like Neo from the Matrix, kind of dodging all of those arrows. Now they're on the axemen. But axemen on throwing axemen here, axemen do win that if they're already on top of the throwing axemen. Which is kind of how ranged versus melee units works there. Also, these axemen are heavy. Dagon definitely needs to get those heavy upgrades in. And this is what Joey needs to do as the 1TC player. He needs to force his way in. I mean, did also take down the Dagon TC, which he hasn't rebuilt yet because it's very difficult as Norse to get back and do that. And now I take it back. This is the right play. He's pushing where all the buildings are and managing to take out all of these straggly units. If you're Dagon here, if I can move to his perspective, you just need to change the rally points to be inside your buildings and then drop them all out at once. If you were to click on the Great Hall, go left click, right click, and you do that on every single one, then you select them all, you hit your ejector button or click the pictures, whatever, and all your units come out at once. But Joey is capitalizing on Dagon not doing that, and very nice play. The Ravens are spotting this. Don't count out the Ravens, but Joey can come back, deal with all of this. Also getting his clairvoyance tech so he can spy what's kind of happening and go for a second Shifting Sands if he wants to. It does cost 50 favor, but maybe it's worth it now because there was a decent amount of heroes out for the Odin. rather than going into more of those Scorpion Men. I think Scorpion Men are so strong, but if you see a decent amount of heroes, so Dagon he only has 4. Obviously, Joey doesn't know that this specific moment, but does have the Jarls. The Jarls have double upgrades. Yeah, I think single upgrades. I think that both of them work, but apparently they don't. We can give a Jarl, so it's 20% extra hit points, and then what is it? It is get bonus damage versus myth units. So actually, the Jarls are good enough anyway. Now Joey going this side. Army is spread out a little bit. Nice bit of micro to deal with the Valkyries. Dagon needs to run the Valkyries back with a bit of micro and get the Jarls attacking. But now the Spearmen are in. Spearmen are pretty scary for the Norse player. And actually, both players on 1 TC, but Joey's... actually, I think the eco's really similar because of down here. I hate how the spectator doesn't show fishing ships, but actually, Joey's got 9 more fishing ships. So, bump that up. What are they worth when they've got their upgrade? It's kind of hard to judge that one. It's like... I think it's similar to a villager on farms, if he's got any on farms. Fortunately, there isn't any yet. But basically not as far behind as you would think. Probably similar to 50-something villagers there. Nebty? Was Nebty cancelled, or did it just come in that quick? Oh, I'm on the wrong perspective. On this side, Nebty cancelled, so wants to save that favour for something else. Potential Shifting Sands play. I know that's a thing Joey's a fan of. It does have the Pharaoh on this. No, he doesn't. But is getting Siege Works. Also putting them into the Siege Works, potentially. Is out of gold. Does notice that this gold mine is being grabbed. Now, Joey needs to run for that position. Can turn and burn this great Jarl army. Dagon's putting on the pressure now because he knows that Joey is out of gold. Absolutely the right decision here. I don't know if his army wins this fight, though. Actually, he does have more military value. The throwing axemen just need to get on the right targets and not be taken down by those slingers. Not sure what the slingers were attacking there. They were shift-clicking down those throwing axemen. Siege tower in to kind of tank up. Only thing is it's quite difficult against the Norse army as they only have 5% hack armor. I want to see Joe's perspective. He needs a gold mine. He's got so much gold, though. Is he going... He never built a Migdal. Building one now. He wants Horus. Horus does give you all those upgrades for your Axeman, for your Spearman. Is he going for another Shifting Sands play? There's nothing to kill. This is the area he needs to attack. It's like Dagon is going in. Shifting Sands is in. Shifting Sands down this side. Is he shifting sands to the back to take out all the buildings? Now that is a big brain play. Migdal Stronghold up, Horus on the way. Dagon is not in a good position here. Needs to run away with all these great Jarls if he can. Going to take some serious damage. Can jump through the Migdal just to get a little bit of extra kind of spacage, if that's the word. Definitely not the word. Now the house is going down. What a Shifting Sands. I absolutely love that. I would never, ever think of that. But 2 houses down, Longhouse down, Armory down, Longhouse coming down here, forcing Great Jarls back. Siege Towers, come on, carry on. If you see your opponent doesn't have whatever that upgrade's called, Masons, then why not? And then they're going to waddle back. Actually, the distraction was so good because now Joey gets to get his gold mine. Migdal Stronghold up if he wants to. Doesn't have... Could he sell? Nah, he's sold all the wood that he can sell. Nice play from Dagon. Brings back the villagers to deal with the siege tower. Even using 100 favor to get that walking woods in again. But unfortunately, the Nebty priest, no Nebty, but priests, dealing with those very nicely. Kind of getting caught out by the slingers, though. Need to bring some of these melee units in to attack. Transforms all those villagers to berserks. Dagon thinks he's in a dire position right here. Going through Balder also. Pretty wild to see Balder coming through and then transforming all these villagers into berserks. You'd think you would wait. You would wait for the heroes of Ragnarok there, but Poseidon, he needs the berserks right this second. Rather than he doesn't need gold soon. He'd have been absolutely fine. Move it back, but thinks he can win this fight anyway. Does have a significant military advantage, but the Migdal Stronghold is in. And all Joey's units can just jump through. And maybe that was the play. Tornado, drop down right here. Is going to get a huge tornado, massive value. Takes about half a second for Dakin to realize that, and that's all it takes to take out all those units. Now, Joey is very similar on military numbers, but overall, the Egyptian units aren't as strong. Is going to be when he gets through Horus, though, which he is. Can get these upgrades in. Do they cost wood? Food. This one's costs food. Get it. If it doesn't cost gold, grab it. Now Balder is in. Ragnarok is in. I'm so surprised he transformed all those units into villagers, all those villagers into berserks, when he could have just gone for that one. Unfortunately, my disc space has run out, but that doesn't matter. We're carrying on. And Joey Bad's running in. What can he do here? Decent amount of priest dealing damage here. The portable ram being so annoying. Mining camp going down. Joey needs to build that one back up. Not a big deal, but does need to deal with that one. We've got the Axe of Vengeance coming in. The Horus upgrade for your Axeman, which makes them deal more damage against buildings. Almost like having hoplites. I mean, they're not as good because they're Axemen. They don't have as much damage, but it's been one hell of a game so far. Joey looks like he is stabilizing. But there is a potential Ragnarok coming for him. The issue is that Dagon's been a 1 TC for a while here. Didn't ever rebuild his back TC. Could have literally changed one of these to a Berserk. Just got that one up. It takes about 2 minutes, but it's better than nothing. And then you still have a big fight on the backside. But I think Dagon has a really nice army here, especially with the Fire Giant. You get a good Fire Giant special on the front. Priests are in. Do they now have their upgrade? They don't. But still deal some damage to the Fire Giants. Now they are in the Mythic Age. Joey could also bring his Pharaoh over to deal some good damage. Fire Giant almost down. So nice play there. But it looks like all of his units are getting... Oh, they're all getting shot up. And now Joey again doesn't have a gold mine. What can he do here? Can he sell food? He can sell food, but he doesn't have farms. So his food situation isn't really that great either. The only thing he can sell is wood, but he's been doing that for a while. And Dagon might have found this here. Maybe he doesn't know, but he can just hit the button if he wants to. He can hit this Ragnarok button. I mean, the Axemen are in. Actually, they are better than hoplites because they do more bonus damage. They have less overall damage, but more bonus. I mean, he does have the fishing ships food he can sell, I guess. The portable rams attack. Needs to bring this Axeman over or just get the catapult on it. Catapult doing some good damage, though. Grabbing his back settlement now. Nice play. All that, yeah, just queue everything onto it. It will eventually come up. You just need to not take any big fights while this is happening. Dagon now getting all his upgrades. Sons of Sleep near. His cavalry, what is it? Bonus damage versus ranged soldiers. He's loving these Jarl upgrades. Joey can go into Spearman if he's got enough barracks. He's got 3 barracks. Because these upgrades do help out the Spearmen. And Spearmen don't cost as much gold as the other ones. The issue is that they're not good against rag heroes. Now Dagon is just swarming the base. Trying to get some camel caravans out is probably a good call. Unfortunately, going after Shield Maiden Valkyrie, needs to turn around. Cambyses the second now needs to turn around and get those Shield Maiden Valkyries if Joey spots it. Looks like he's going for more favor, going for some last-ditch play. Get some good raids off on this side as well. And I think that is going to be it. Dagon does take this one. The Berserk play actually worked out. I thought that was a wild play. But Dagon did spot that the map was kind of his here. He walled it off, realized that this is where all the gold mines were, and forces Joey off of gold. And that was kind of it. Could have even gone for the button, gone for the Ragnarok if he really wanted to. But yeah, this has been the Athenian League heroic tier. If you want to see more, let me know, and I'll see you in the next one.